Welcome back to the show, folks. I'm your host, Fred Dreyer, here on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Once again, I want to remind you there'll be absolutely no obsequious pandering to the righteous niceness allowed. If you want to do that, if you have a penchant for doing that, please do it on your own time. You can't do it here. And with me, as I dive bomb the pernicious peddlers of the pornographic politic, with me is Jennifer Horn. Jennifer?
Hello. You're very good at alliteration.
I'm pretty good at alliteration, yeah. While I'm sober.
I know.
No, but usually I'm drunk when I do the show. So.
Today's it's a New Year's thing, right?
It is a New Year's thing. That's one of my resolutions.
Yeah, no whiskey, no whatever.
No
yeah.
whiskey.
Quitting the juice.
I made my resolution, in July, on my birthday, July 6th. So for any of you people want to write it down and send me something.
July 6th, 2 days after
July
Independence
6th.
Day.
That's right, 2 days after Independence Day. And but I made my resolution, to stop drinking, and so I'm.
So you stopped drinking this year? No. I believe Bill Glenn and Singer.
I have not been a drinker in my life. Have I had alcohol? Sure. Mm-hmm. But and there's been moments in my youth where I have really gotten stinking drunk, and it's those accumulations that have helped me make the decision that I shouldn't do that.
It all circles back to the liver, this show. Have you noticed that?
It really does.
And really, as you get a little older, and none of us can escape it, being drunk, really not that much fun anymore. You used to be able to bounce back when you're young, but...
What a waste of time.
And energy and hurt.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes the people in Iowa are drunk. What they've done now is they've decided that Ron Paul is at the top of the heap.
Yeah.
He's the most desirous candidate to represent the Republicans in the 2012 elections for president. And what's interesting is that Ron Paul clearly has some interesting ideas in terms of small government. And I'm going to listen to anybody that really is passionate about getting rid of
downsizing. Absolutely,
really getting rid of government, because it's just that is the problem. If you don't have a balanced budget amendment and you don't have a line item veto, there's no way you can run a business.
Right.
You just can't do it. And every business, every small, medium business in America, which is America's life's blood, is being punished and hammered out because of this overtaxation and large government regulations. And regulations can be absorbed by larger corporations. They can't by small companies.
Right, we can't function.
They just can't. And the first thing that hits them is that payroll through the payroll taxes is the demand on health care.
Right, insurance.
And you can't do it, And large companies like, I'll use Enron, if you forgive me. Large companies like Enron can say, well, we're going to provide you, when you come to work here, we're going to give you a salary, we're going to give you benefits, we're going to give you retirement benefits, we're going to give you health care. And that's wonderful if they can do that. It's like my cousin, we got out of high school, Jerry Grauman got out of high school and went to work into the airline business, and he worked at North American. And came up through that and made a living and a life out of that. And so he's now on a pension from North American.
And he's good. He's good to go.
And that's great. And that's wonderful. The union did a great job for them. Now, but here in Iowa, what you have is you have Ron Paul. And I asked my friends, I said, after watching the debates and hearing Ron Paul speak and taking out the positive things, and that's small.
And there are some.
Yeah, you bet there are. There's some small things. And what is wonderful about the debate, the 8 or 9 people, I think it's 8 people now, what they're doing is people are beginning to compare who's talking about what and why. And Ron Paul has always been passionately, I think, to say that he's not a zealot about small government would be a mistake, but he is crazy about small government to a fault, I believe. And because along with that comes this ridiculous isolationist belief that if America just closed their eyes and shut the doors and windows, the world would go away.
Right. Which is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, and the elements are this: that the people in Iowa are now see him as their candidate in the face of his foreign policy, which is suicidal for this country. You know, we can elaborate on that, you know, when we come back after the break, but
he appeals to both parties, though, which is interesting about Ron Paul. He appeals to a lot of extremists. He appeals to interesting. We'll talk more about it.
Yeah, but he appeals to the extremists, but a lot of those are young students, and very old people, and we can get into who's being allowed to vote and why when we come back.
Sounds good. More on the Iowa caucus when we return. It is the Fred Dryer Show right here on CRN Digital Talk Radio.